Acts 25. Paul was a great guy, and I love him. And after Jesus, he's really my hero. Such a great Christian. But he had his weaknesses, and I think you see them here in Acts 25. He was frustrated at having been kept in prison for some years when he was innocent of what he was accused of. And so he appears now to lose his temper. He says, "If then I'm a wrongdoer and have committed anything worthy of death, I don't object to dying. But if none of these things are true, which these men accuse me of, no one can deliver me to them. I appeal to Caesar." About everything he says here is wrong. He says, "if I'm a wrongdoer." Well, elsewhere, Paul admits he is a wrongdoer and that he's a terrible sinner. But here he claims that he's done nothing wrong and doesn't deserve to die. But Paul clearly understood that the wages of sin is death, and that he was, as he says, chief of sinners. He's indeed committed lots of things worthy of death, not least extrajudicial murder of Christians. We get the sense, therefore, that he was speaking in hot blood. He was furiously angry with the Jews and with how Felix and Festus favoured the Jews over him. And so he appeals to Caesar, which meant a journey to Rome to be tried by the emperor. What were his motives in making that appeal? He'd earlier written that it was his intention to preach the gospel in Rome, the capital of the Roman world, a city he'd never visited, and located further than he had ever travelled. So his motives may indeed have been good, but one can't help but think that he appealed to go to Caesar because he was desperately frustrated sitting in prison for years in Palestine. Human motivation is nearly always mixed. This is why we are to examine ourselves, as Paul himself says. We particularly do this at the breaking of bread. And as we reconstruct the crucifixion process in our own minds, we each have a solemn duty to do that, we ought to come very much in touch with the real me. A small, weak sinner standing, kneeling before the cross of the Son of God. And we're revealed there for who we really are. And hopefully we see through our mixed motivations and go away resolved to be motivated purely and solely by a desire to serve him who so loved me.